Good to see you. I just wanted to catch up about your debut single featuring me.
That's why
All about me.
That's why you want to do this, Vincent.
So I really wanted to talk about that, but also get to the bottom of what happened with your first Blinking and Missing debut single, Shut Up. So are you ready to speak to me?
I am, Vincent, my love.
Always.
Always.
So you had a debut single a while ago, a cover version of Simon Sebastian's Shut Up and Speak With Me. Some people might know it. They might have heard your version, but it disappeared really, really quickly. It was out for like 5 seconds. And everyone wants to know what happened with that and why it suddenly disappeared. Can you spill the tea?
Spill the tea. Well, I love the track. I had the track in 1995. I bought it on CD single.
Excellent.
And it came with Golden Boy as the
B-side. Yeah, see, I love that. I love that one. That's my favorite one. But I like Shut Up too. But...
Yeah, I think Golden Boy is my favorite.
So what went wrong? What happened?
Well, basically, I don't want to bash the singer.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But it was one of those moments. It was a pop nightmare, to be honest. Sebastian had said that the song featured samples,
right?
The original, and then we obviously, long story short, were asked to remove the song, and it didn't.
And it's such a shame, because one recreates everything. So we sang everything, I sang the high bits for you, and he recreates all the music. So there weren't any samples in there, but I think it's just easy if the original artist kicks up a fuss, it's easy just to pull it. And, you don't want to upset anybody.
I was literally I felt really crushed by it.
It's such a shame as well, because it was such a good cover. I thought it really worked really well. It updated it, but it stayed true to the original, and it was a real tribute to the original because it's a really good song. So it was done as a tribute to Sebastian, wasn't it? It wasn't meant to upset him at all. We thought he'd be really pleased with it because it's so good.
I thought he would be flattered. I genuinely thought. Having interviewed him previously, I thought he'd email and go, "Oh my God, Bazz, this is great!
Yeah.
Love what you've done with the song. What a lovely tribute!" And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So.
And it's doubly sad, really, because if he had been like that, there's every opportunity for us to have recorded something with him. Like, who's to say we couldn't have done the follow-up and done something new with him, or done a new version of Golden Boy with him?
Yeah, we could have done a collab. It could have been like, oh my God, Simon Sebastian with Bazz or something, or whatever, yourself.
Because I think he's still making music, is he? Did he say that?
I think so. Yeah.
Good for him. But shame. But it's funny how things pan out, isn't it? Because without Shut Up, your new debut single, which the proper debut single, wouldn't exist, would it?
Yeah. I thought about this the other day. I thought I'm quite, as much as it was kind of heartbreaking at the time, I'm quite pleased it happened, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because then you can kind of go, I'm not attached to a cover. It's a brand new song. And I'm very grateful to yourself and Juan for kind of going, actually, because you were equally saddened for me. And
oh yeah,
and the work that went into that to recreate Shut Up. That I'm grateful that you've then gone, actually, let's have another try at this. And even
sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, all the stuff that was planned, all that got shelved. So the pop video, the dance routine, which I'd filmed a tutorial, did all literally was kind of because obviously it's exciting for me to go, this is a thing. I was like, well, what can we do with this? Create a campaign. There was going to be merch and with Shut Up on the t-shirts and stuff like that. And all of the stuff that was planned, obviously, is now binned. It's in the bin. It's in the bin. Get it in the bin. Bin with Sebastian.
What happened was with the new single, Speak to Me,
Out now.
Speak to me. I was actually away with my partner Tom in Budapest, and it was the first time we'd been away since COVID and or coronavirus and stuff. And it was really lovely to get away. And we were there and we were walking around, and I was telling her about Shut Up because it all happened around the same time. And yeah, and I just thought about it, and I said to him, wouldn't it be good to do a song that was kind of the polar opposite to Shut Up? So what's the opposite to shutting up? Speaking. so that's where it came from. And I was walking around singing it to him while we were sightseeing, and the chorus actually came to me when we were on a river cruise down the Danube, and I was singing it into my phone on the boat. But it would not have existed if the whole Shut Up thing hadn't happened. So in a way, it's kind of like pop destiny, you know?
Yeah.
How would you describe it to people if they haven't heard it yet?
It is a 90s Eurodance throwback, more kind of late 90s, so that kind of like Venga Boy, Aqua-y sound with the little kind of just that feel good, those little kind of like lifts in the key changes, if it's not like and that's got all those things in. It's catchy, it's super catchy, it's super camp. Which if I did a song and pretended or tried to be someone like Celine Dion, people would go, really, Queen?
You could, if anybody could pull it off, you could.
Just need the right hat.
The cover got changed, didn't it? What happened there?
So the original cover, which was
this is behind the scenes secrets, pop secrets.
God, pop secrets. I've got me fan already. The original cover, which was the pink, and it had me with the sunglasses on and the pink jacket. Yeah. And obviously it said "Shut Up" on the front. When the new single, so when obviously that all got shelved, so that no longer existed. Then we had Speak to Me. Juan at Maxi Music did a new cover. So he did a new cover and thought I would be kind of like, it would have been nice to go with the new cover, but I personally asked Juan and said, can we go with the original? Maybe if we just change the color or something, and then we go with, because there's a reason behind this. Because I think it was the debut of the Bazz, this little pop chapter in my life, if you will. So I wanted anyone looking for it to see that image and then go, oh, that's the single, regardless if it said "Shut Up" or "Speak to Me" on the front. I wanted the same kind of look. Obviously, it's just slightly changed, but that was something that I felt was quite important as a standpoint from like a debut single perspective. Like you've still got that. So even though people might switch it on and go, I could have swore this said "Shut Up" last time. This new lyrics. But I thought it was.
It's a different song. Hang on. Yeah.
Because a lot of people have messaged and gone, "That's the same cover," and I'm like, it's meant to be.
Yeah,
meant to be.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake. It is the same cover by choice.
The same cover, yeah. And
I think it's a really good image. I think it's a really strong image, and it works really well as a record cover. So I think you did the right thing. It's a good call.
Taking this further, if this goes further and whatever comes from this, it would be nice to have that kind of like queer pop aesthetic, very campy, very kind of what I think I would, if I was an artist, would be. So if my cousin and I do this thing, we don't anymore, but actually we still do. So years ago when it was the X Factor, X Factor was like a thing.
What's your cousin's name?
Gemma.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd always go, what song would you do in this week? So say it was like Camp.
Oh, I get you.
You get what I'm saying? And you're like, if there was a theme, what song would you do, and how would you open and be? Like she would come out, she would do like So Macho by Stanita.
Amazing.
She'd come out and blah blah blah, and I would be like, oh god, I do, and it would be something like, there's a track by, I don't know if you probably will know, it's Angie Gold, "Eat You Up."
Oh yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's really kind of high energy. And I would have
Vibe
like
song.
men carry me out, and they would all be like oiled, and I'd be like, I'm gonna eat you up. And then I'd be like, and I'd have the dance routine done, and it'd be all like, it would be like a production.
Yeah.
And there's times where you kind of like, if you're like on a train and you've got music on in your ears and you like drift off into pop video world.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, like, and so that's always been something that I've always kind of like been like as a kid, like since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like that fantasy world of pop and stuff. So
Same.
I think, so I think with the cover, and it's escapism, I think we do it because it's escapism. Yeah.
And the whole oiled up men feature quite a lot. I could be in the supermarket and think I'm going to make a video in here, and then there'll always be little oiled up men. Some featuring somewhere in the freezer, on a shelf. There'll be somewhere carrying me somewhere to the till.
Pushing pink trolleys covered in glitter, just like, and then you'd be like coming out the Linda McCartney aisle. Right.
The world needs more oiled up men.
They do.
There, I've said it.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. The world needs more oiled up men.
Hashtag the world needs more. I can't even say it actually now. It's too long. Just oiled up men, maybe.
You've gone hot and bothered. That's why you can't say it. Get that fun out.
Talking of hot and bothered, you performed "Speak to Me" recently, did you? Was that the debut performance?
It was.
Oh.
I performed it on at an event called Queer Fest.
And you organised that?
Yes. So, and I hosted it and got a chance to do a little Speak to Me. So Queer Fest is an event which I did with the Collegedale Pride team.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you lot. Hey girls and guys, and everyone in between. So I'm a part of the Collegedale Pride committee. So we put on Pride in our local town, and we did I joined in 2019 when Pride was getting resurrected for the first time.
Yeah. And
so we did the because it hadn't been in the town for about 8 or 9 years or something. So it was bringing it back, and I hosted that with my partner Drew, Mr. Rainbow. I love Mr. Rainbow, and great name. And obviously 2020, 2021 pandemic, couldn't do it. So we're back and we're bigger than ever. The whole thing was, it was meant to be, because we've got this big Pride event at the Peace Hall in Halifax in September. This was, I wanted this to be like a pre-Pride, really kind of intimate, really chill kind of vibe where bands just come and play, and it's a really safe space for the LGBTQ plus community and its allies. So anyone that is fully supportive of the LGBT community to come along. So we had like a real eclectic, we had like 8 hours of live music, bands, and we had singers and and it was just fun. My nephew came and performed.
Oh, amazing!
Which was, I got to do a duet with him. That was really, that was just like a really lovely moment as an uncle.
Yeah.
Well, auntie on the day, because I was Dame Shirley.
That's your alter ego, isn't it? Yeah. Dame Shirley Bazzy.
Yeah. You might. Yeah. I generally put bars into everything I could possibly put in. So Basmatas, Bazz Energy Express, Dame Shirley Bazzy. So that was Queer Fest, and I got to perform it, and it went down a storm.
Oh, brilliant! And it's such a good idea. What a brilliant idea! So anybody out there in listenerland who's handles funding for queer stuff, give it to Bazz, so he can do Queer Fest all over the country. Because you could roll that out all over the country, and it's a great fundraiser, a precursor to Pride. Brilliant idea, really good.
Oh, we could do this. That could be
all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world. Queer Fest.
It's a really good idea.
I think it's
copyright Bazz.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Copyright Bazz. Queer Fest. Done. There you go.
I couldn't get you on the blower or on the Zoom anyway. I know it's not the blower really, but to speak to me without asking some nosy questions.
He's good. Is this like Oh No Not the Biscuit Tin?
Basically. So tell us 5 things that people might not know about you.
Well, I run a dance studio
Huh?
in Halifax called Basmatas.
Yeah, you mentioned Basmatas before, and I thought, that's going to be one of his things.
Yeah, so Basmatas, I've had that for 16 years.
Oh, God, I didn't realize it was that long. I thought it was about 10. Wow.
16 years of Basmatas. I've taught literally over like thousands and thousands of women have come through the door. So it's a dance class for adult women. It
Right.
started out. This is literally like the brief in a nutshell. Started out because I'd been dancing and doing bits and bobs, and I was abroad, and then I came back to the UK with my partner. Got a job in Blackpool dancing, and then I was like, I am burnt out. Don't want to do this anymore. This is like this is the whack jack. This is your whack jack. Over it. Just like enough's enough. Donna Summer, Barbra Streisand. Then after a year out, doing other bits and bobs, I kind of got itchy feet. And I thought, why don't I do just a little dance class? Why don't I do like a little exercise class, but with a difference? So what do I know how to do? Pop choreography, blah, 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 blah. Why don't we do it like that? And you learn a dance routine over like a course.
Yeah.
And by the end, you live in your pop star fantasy, living your best life. And it was the reason why I aimed it at women because the gym, men, I don't this because obviously we live in a world now where there's no kind of like I don't want to come across as like equality thing and all this kind of stuff, but men can go to the gyms, blah, 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 and do all the bits and bobs. Women in that environment, only from what I was picking up and hearing, that they're like, oh, I can't go to the gym, I'm too big. Oh, I can't, like, I feel uncomfortable and I don't like the way people look at me and
objectified.
Yeah. Or they feel uncomfortable because they're not the right shape or whatever.
Or they feel they're not the right shape.
Yeah, which they're totally gorgeous. But I wanted to create a safe space. I mentioned this earlier on about the queer stuff. I wanted to create a safe space for where they could just come, escape from the world, and who hasn't held a hairbrush and pretended to be Madonna?
Absolutely.
So that was how that came about. So this is like 2006, and it just literally grew. Like I did one class, I think there was 9 people turned up. By the following week, I had to put an extra class on.
Wow.
And then by like a couple of months later, I was up to like 4 or 5 classes, and it just
amazing.
It just literally grew and grew and grew. And
hello, Dragon's Den. I've got a new franchise for you.
We've got 2, Queer Fest and
God, though, Dragon's Den. Hello.
Hello. I'm all about the safe space.
Franchise it out, babe.
Yeah. So that's literally how, I mean, I'd probably be the art to a penny now, but that was how that started around, and it was really unique at the time. Just taking like a pop song and just kind of like making people feel like a pop star and feeling good about themselves. And there was no
brilliant idea.
There was no judgment. There was no, doesn't matter if you got 2 left feet. It was just about coming, living your best life and living your fantasy.
So that's one thing.
What was the question?
But it's there is 5 things people might not know about you.
All right, 4 more things. I once choreographed for Kylie Minogue.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little shot.
How was that?
That was great. Well, what? Well, I'd been working for, I've been doing some stuff for Nintendo.
Right.
Doing some games and bits and bobs. And then we got away.
How cool is that as well?
Yeah, to be the little avatar person.
That's amazing.
So yes, it was a great project to work on, and we had one of like Kylie's official dancers. She came up and did some stuff, and then we were like, I mean, I was like, I knew everything. I knew all the like song and and it was great to get all the promo stuff through.
Yeah.
and just have all this like Kylie merch that no one
Yeah.
no one had had. And I was like, oh my God, this is just incredible. I feel really lucky. And then we went down to the EMI studios in London for the launch of it. And they were like, Kylie's going to be there. I was beside, like, I can't even tell you, I wanted to spew with excitement.
Yeah.
Anyway, she didn't turn up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know. Wasn't meant
Still
to be.
really good to have done that.
Yeah.
How amazing.
She'd gone up to the irony. I went down there and she went up to Manchester to do the X Factor on that Saturday. And I was like, oh my God, hello. And something else, I won a ITV reality TV show in 2001.
What was that?
Called Red Hot Dance.
Oh.
So it was just after Popstars. So this is like they found the five here, and then this was to find 5 dancers. So like a dance equivalent of here, and won that. So did all the heats, was on the TV, did all the heats, blah blah blah. It was very kind of like doing all the bits and bobs, where they get you to kind of like speak on the phone and go like all the little like sound blurby bits, and it was a great experience. So we got took to Ibiza as the prize, and we worked with Chaka Khan's and I think Whitney Houston's choreographer, and he put a show together, and then we performed that in Ibiza. And that was great. And then we came back to like press media and all this attention, and then the band split up. Which that's another story. I'm looking, do you know what it is? This is really weird being interviewed. I'm looking down for stuff and I'm like, there's nothing there. Because I'm so used to kind of like in between questions going like,
the tables have turned.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Speak to me.
I will. I always encourage other people to speak to me. This is weird. Last 2 things. Let's go with I was the face of a campaign called Millennium Volunteers.
Right, yeah.
So it was in 1999, so on the precipice of the new millennium. And I was the poster boy for this campaign. And I used to and I was on huge billboards. Mm-hmm. And so like
you're like a headshot or full body? Like
a full, like I saw the thing, I can remember the poster. And it had my name on, and it said like something like 18. I think it might have been 18 when we shut up, but it was 99, so I turned 19.
Yeah.
And then it was a few things about me, like hates waiting for buses. I don't know why I said that. Love 70s music, hates waiting for buses. And then I was like standing on the side like this. It was all like blue. And I was like,
yeah,
looking all useful. And then that literally got took around the country on like huge billboards, and they called it Big Bazz. So they go like, so I'd have to go to all these conferences like up and down the UK. And then they'd be like, have we got Big Bazz, blah, blah. And then they'd wheel in the big billboard and they'd like set this, and I was on like exhibition stands and stuff. And I'd go, I mean, I know. And then I'd go and like do a talk. It was so random. And then turn up to these events. Because I think, I don't know, but like, oh, can we have, so they used to be in the billboard. I used to always get asked to stand in front of the billboard. So I was on this big billboard. Then like they'd assemble this big board, and I'd stand there and be like that. Obviously, like my huge face. So we used to do loads of random stuff, and I went to this conservation thing, and I had to do all this. But remember David Bellamy?
Yeah, I love David Bellamy.
And I had to do this kind of like thing with David Bellamy and like walk around. And then he was like, you should talk like that, didn't you? Like, things.
Oh, very much like that, yes. Very sweet.
And then I'd be like, and I'd have to stand and like get involved with like mooching around some kind of like vegetable patch, looking at some like
rooting around David's root vegetables.
Oh, what?
Did you keep in touch with David Bellamy?
He died.
He only died really. But did you keep in touch with him? Were you best buds?
I think he's hot. After working with me, he's hot. So I wish you all the best, Vincent.
It was too much for him.
Couldn't go. You're too much for me, Baz. Too much for me.
His garden was never the same.
It was never the same. Never. One more. What can I think of? I'm trying to kind of go around that time. Oh, auditioned for a record producer.
Oh, yeah.
A record agent manager bloke. Again, really random. Came around. I was in this kind of like dance group with 3 others, and we were called 1-2.
Good.
Or NE2, 1-2. And then we went to one of our friends, or one of their friends. He was in Biker Grove.
Brilliant.
And he was like, "Oh, this record producer." I can't remember the backstory. Basically, record producer. So we went to his record studio and met him, and we went to prepare a song, and we did "Bewitched," "Blame It on the Weatherman."
Love that song.
I do. I love it. And Danny, the other guy in the band. So I was like, "The rain goes on," and we were, "And on again." Like we were pretty much like most boys in like 2 go 2, but like you know what I mean. They didn't do much.
Yeah.
Then we did all like the Blame on the Weatherman. Then we did a dance routine to Vogue, which was really random and really kind of like because it was quite sexualized, this routine. And then there's just this like record exec just sitting looking at us, and we were like, "Come on, Vogue!" Like giving off. We're so random. And then he had this, and it wasn't show. I've got to like I'm thinking because when at the time it was this was like 99, I think 2000, maybe 99. So he had this singer called Cheryl, and it wasn't Cheryl Cole. And it was around the time of like when mobile phones just first came in and had those little aerials.
Oh yeah, I liked them.
So when we went to the recording studio, met the guy was called Drew, which is an irony because my partner's called Drew.
Yeah.
So Drew was this like record boss. And then we were like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And he was like, and he just finished a meeting with Cheryl. And he was like, "This is Cheryl. She's going to be the next big star." And then she's going to
be the next Cheryl. Oh no.
She wasn't even around then, Cheryl Cole.
Oh.
Might have been. And then because obviously she's from the Northeast. And then Cheryl went like that, put her phone out, and I took a hold of the aerial and shook it.
Oh, I love that.
Because she was like, "Hello." And I went, "Hello," and just shook the little end of the air.
What did you think you were going to do? What was that? Was she saying,
"What was that?
Here's my number," or?
Yeah, she was just like that. Like, I think she had her handbag over like one of her arms and just like, "Hello." Like, I'm like, "Oh my God, like some spotty girl from Newcastle. Who are you?" Anyway, so that was really random. That 5?
I love that. That was 5, wasn't it?
That was 5.
Done. I know what I was going to say. You were saying that you had danced with a couple of my pop heroes. I think it was the Venga Boys and Whigfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So basically I after winning the ITV show, I then went to live in Mallorca, as you do.
Fabulous, glamorous.
So I went to live out there, and then got a job dancing and stuff. So I got to kind of like work in great clubs and meet great artists, and it was just a really fantastic experience because again, meeting all these people and like sharing dressing rooms with like the Venga Boys and Whigfield. And I was like beside myself when I met Whigfield, beside myself. Because I was obsessed from like in 1994 with Saturday Night, bought all of her albums. So then meeting her in 2002, she just had released, because the albums are called Whigfield 1 and Whigfield 2.
Yeah.
Whigfield 4. Yeah. So Whigfield, and then we ended up kind of like going on the drink afterwards. And,
no way.
Oh my God, totally. And we were doing shots and stuff. And I was like, this is so surreal. And she like gave the best hugs. And she was just so lovely.
Oh,
just really, really lovely.
I've got the last lot of my questions is a quick fire round. Are you ready for that?
Oh God, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Hang on.
Rehydrate, you're going to need
it. Needed.
Right, ready to speak to me, Baz?
Always.
First record bought?
Mel and Kim, respectable.
Oh, 3 pop heroes.
Kylie, obviously. Steps, Erasure.
Fave item of clothing and why?
I have a black, it's a black top, and along the back and the sleeves is just rainbow fringing.
Oh, fab.
It's the fringing's really long, so it's very swishy. Like you can literally serve your best Wonder Woman, like best life, spinning around. And I wore it for a Pride in Hampton Bridge, and that image of me, I'm like swinging around and the fringing's coming around, is being used in a campaign called Culture Dale, and it's Culture Dale's culture, and they've kind of like merged together, and it's promoting like pride in, love in, this thing, that in. So I'm on the little thing with me top on.
Lovely. First concert?
Kylie, 1991. Let's get to it. Whitney Beer.
Oh, brilliant era. If you could time travel, where would you go?
Let's go with, I'm going to pick 3 places.
Right.
We'll start in the 60s. 1967, Summer of Love. Maybe's Live Aid.
Oh, fab, yeah.
In 85, to witness kind of the Queen thing live, Radio Gaga and all that kind of stuff. And then the Smash Hits Paul Winners Party of 1988.
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
Or 89, any of those kind of, just remember being, as a child, so incredibly incensed that I wasn't in the audience. Like, it was like, how do you even get tickets? Like, it was like, it just seemed like a completely different world. Like, how are these kids at that concert and I'm not? I was so unfair.
Yeah, the injustice of it,
Shocking.
Most embarrassing moment?
So I was at in the doctor's office, and I was lying on the bed, and he was, obviously they put that like paper stuff down on the bed, don't they?
Yeah.
And then he was like rustling that up and laying down a new sheet. And then he said, what I'm gonna get you to do next is I want you to do a stool sample.
Right.
And so, and as he was doing that, he was laying down the paper. So I undid my belt and started to take my trousers off and said, do you want me to go next? I can't believe I'm telling this.
What did he say?
He went, oh God, no. Put your trousers back on. And he went, no. I'm going to get you to do a sample. And I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry, because it was obviously the way he was lying down the paper. And he went, I'm more impressed that you can just go on demand.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and he
amazing.
went, oh my God, he went, obviously I won't give the name, but he went, I will dine out on this story for years to come. It amused him so no way.
Oh, I love that.
And I was like, so embarrassed.
So one more question. Have you ever been mistaken for somebody else?
I get a lot of Richard O'Brien.
Really?
From the Crystal.
He's about 80.
I've had people in bars shout to me, will you start the fans, please?
Really? Yeah. I mean, you could host that. You'd be really good at that. Channel 4, if you're listening.
Listen, I'd love to host the Crystal Mares. We went to the...
Did you?
Oh my God, it was so... I keep saying the word beside myself. I was beside myself, running around, caught up in the drama. Like, it was just the best thing. And they have the music on.
Yeah.
And I was the team captain. And I was like, come on, team. Oh, I was living.
So what's next for Bazz then?
World domination, Vincent. World domination.
Only fitting.
See it now. Do you know? I just keep on doing what I do. I love what I do. I've got so many little kind of different job roles, like dancer, choreographer, obviously run a business, radio, part of the Pride team. I do some like drag stuff on the side, which is not to be taken seriously. It's just like a little. That's not my profession. It's just it's just a fun thing to do. And like with the song, like doing "Speak to Me," like the whole point of it is fun. It's meant to be escapism. It's meant to be a joy, and hopefully there'll be more of this in the future. And if not, it's been an absolute blast. And hopefully people will enjoy it. And if they don't, you don't have to listen to it.
True, but if you do enjoy it, add it to your playlist on Spotify, play it to death, because the more people that play it, or buy it from Bandcamp as well, play it on YouTube, because the more people that play it and listen to it, the more likely that you'll get to do more. So so all that support does really count. So, and retweet it and
just share it,
share it,
and hopefully, like, we've got some other bits and bobs in the pipeline coming up. We've got some bits and bobs in the pipeline with the single and other little treats and things that are going to drop. So stay tuned for all of those things. But yeah, the single's out. I'm thrilled it's out. I'm thrilled that the shut up stuff's all been put behind us. That's all just kind of like, there you go. The line's been drawn. It's over. And then Speak to Me is the new chapter, and we take it from there. And again, listen, thank you for writing the song and asking me to be a part of all of this. It's
my pleasure.
It's fantastic.
My pleasure.
Who would have thought our paths would have crossed this way?
I know. All those years ago. Is it 2 years?
Yeah, so I used to I've played your music for years on the show. And we've like, I remember he's exchanged just something of like whatever, and you've gone, thank you for playing the record. And then it might have been during the pandemic, I asked you to be involved with my LGBTQ soundtrack.
Yes.
But it wasn't like this. I think he just messaged, wrote it down, and I just read it out, which was, I think, before we even knew what Zoom was.
Yeah.
And then since then, obviously, I've kept in touch, and then here we go.
I know, it's fab, isn't it? It's exciting times.
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to what the future has to hold, and regardless of where it takes you, or whatever. I think it's just to be embraced. It's to be cherished. It's to be lived. Yeah. And then just continue down this kind of creative path, and who knows where and what.
Keep sharing and caring.
Yeah, absolutely. And stay fabulous. That's what it's all about. It's got to just like my mantra from being, I started in 2006 at the end of the very first ever class I ever taught. And I went, thanks so much. Until next time, I just went, stay fabulous. Put my fingers up like that to my eye. And that has literally stuck. And I still, 16 years on, still say, stay fabulous at the end of every session. I've got it on t-shirts, so the slogan's all around the studio. So it's something I've lived by like forever and a day.
Excellent. Well, watch this space and see what comes along next.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed for some more fabsy stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
And Speak to Me is out now. It's on Bandcamp. You can stream it soon. It's not quite ready to be streamed, is it? It's coming out soon.
It's pending. So it's going to be available on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, iTunes,
Apple, Tidal.
Yeah, Tidal, Deezer, all the big things. And then, let's just get it pushed out there. And hopefully it will be the soundtrack to your summer.
Yes. And, anybody listening to this or watching this, let us know what you think of the song, and, comments, share, tell us what you think. Speak to us. Speak to me. Speak to Bazz.
Speak to me. Yeah. And it's okay to talk.
Yeah, it's good to talk. I think that's a catchphrase already. But yeah.
I think, what's your bit in the record when you go, tell me why, your little little life. It might be, open your heart, share your love and feelings, tell me how you're feeling, because I love to speak to you.
Yeah, and I do love to speak to you.
Yeah. And I love talking with you.
Yes.
Another line from the record there.
Oh, well, thanks so much for this.
Oh, thank you so much. been a
It's been
pleasure. It's been
great.
absolute joy. Weird, really weird, really weird being on the other side of this.
But fun.
Weird. But yeah, loads of fun.
Good. All right. Well, see you soon.
See you soon. Speak to you soon. Yeah. Stay fabulous.